My name is Sharu, and up until Thanksgiving morning, I thought I had a family. I wasn't blood related to the Hendersons, let's get that straight from the jump. I was their tenant for 3 years, living in the small converted garage apartment behind their 5-bedroom suburban house in Phoenix, Arizona. But somewhere along the way, I stopped being the guy who rents the back unit. I became Uncle Sharu to little Maya, who was 6 and loved my terrible card tricks. I became the grill master on summer Sundays for Mr. Henderson, Carl, who pretended he didn't need help lifting the propane tank. I became the one who sat with Mrs. Henderson, Linda, on her bad days, listening to her talk about her estranged sister in Oregon. So when Linda knocked on my door at 8 a.m. on Thanksgiving, holding a foil-wrapped plate of cinnamon rolls, I thought it was the usual invitation. "Sharu, honey, dinner's at 4, don't be late," she said, her smile warm but her eyes nervous. "I'll bring my famous spicy mashed potatoes," I said. She laughed. "You always do." I spent the morning preparing. I peeled 10 pounds of Yukon Gold potatoes, boiled them with garlic and jalapenos, then whipped them with butter and cream cheese until they were dangerously good. I put on my only ironed shirt, a dark red button-down, and walked the 50 feet to the main house at 3:45 p.m. The smell hit me first. Roasted turkey, sage, cinnamon, and something sweet baking in the oven. Maya saw me through the window and screamed, "Uncle Sharu!" She ran and wrapped her tiny arms around my legs. "Hey, little monster," I said, lifting her up. "You ready to see a coin disappear?" "Show me, show me!" I reached into my pocket, but before I could pull out the quarter, the front door opened. And standing there was Carl's older son from his first marriage, Derek. Derek lived in Scottsdale, drove a leased BMW, and had hated me from the second I moved in. I never figured out why. Maybe because I was brown. Maybe because I was too friendly with his dad. Maybe because I existed in a space he thought belonged only to real family. Derek crossed his arms. "You're not coming in." I blinked. "What?" "Linda, did you invite him?" Derek called over his shoulder, loud enough for everyone inside to hear. Linda appeared in the hallway, wiping her hands on an apron. "Of course I did, Derek. He's a tenant," Derek said, his voice dripping with ice. "He's not family. This is a family dinner, and I'm not going to have some random renter sitting at my mother's table eating her food while my actual family is here." My hand tightened on the bowl of potatoes. "Derek, I've been here for 3 Thanksgivings. I'm not some random renter." Carl walked up behind Derek, his face unreadable. I expected him to say something, to be the man I thought he was, but he just looked at the floor. "Sharu, maybe this year, maybe sit this one out." My chest went cold. "Carl, come on. Linda just invited me." Linda tried to step forward, but Derek grabbed her arm, not hard, but firmly enough to stop her. "Mom, you're too nice. That's your problem. You let people take advantage." "I'm not taking advantage of anyone," I said, my voice steady even though my hands were shaking. "I paid my rent on time for 36 months. I fixed your sprinkler system. I stayed up with Maya when she had the flu so you two could sleep. I'm not a stranger. You're nobody," Derek said, and he smiled. "Now leave, before I call the cops and tell them you're trespassing." I looked at Carl. He wouldn't meet my eyes. I looked at Linda. Her face was wet with tears, but she didn't say a word. Maya was still clinging to my leg, not understanding. "Uncle Sharu?" she whispered. I set the bowl of potatoes on the doorstep. I bent down, kissed Maya's head, and said, "I'll show you that trick another day, okay?" Then I turned around and walked back to my apartment. I sat in my small living room for an hour. The walls felt thinner than usual. I could them laughing through the windows, Derek telling some loud story, Carl pouring drinks, Maya asking where I was, and someone, probably Linda, saying, "He had to go home, sweetie." Home? This wasn't my home. It was never my home. I just fooled myself into thinking it was. I packed a bag. Not much. Laptop, charger, a few clothes, and a photo of my late grandmother who raised me in Mumbai before I moved to the States. Then I sat on my couch and stared at the ceiling. At 6 p.m., my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. It was a photo. Derek had taken a picture of the Thanksgiving table: turkey, stuffing, cranberry sauce, my bowl of spicy mashed potatoes shoved to the very edge, untouched. The caption read, "Nobody misses you. Happy Thanksgiving, renter." Something in me snapped. Not in a violent way, in a quiet, final way. The way a rope snaps when it's been fraying for years. I made 3 phone calls. First call, my cousin Raj, who owns a real estate development firm in Dallas. "Raj, how fast can you get me the contact info for every property owner on Maple Street?" "Sheru, it's Thanksgiving. What's going on?" "Just trust me." Second call, my friend Sophia, a paralegal at the biggest eviction law firm in Phoenix. "Sophia, how long does a legal eviction take in Maricopa County?" "Minimum 30 days if uncontested, longer if they fight." "Good. Send me the forms." Third call, a moving company. "I need a truck at 6 a.m. tomorrow, full service. I don't care about the holiday rate." Then I opened my laptop and started typing. Here's what Derek didn't know. He didn't know that I wasn't just some renter. I was a data analyst for a commercial real estate firm. I knew property laws better than most lawyers. And I knew that Carl and Linda didn't own the house outright. They were leasing the land from a holding company that had fallen behind on property taxes. How did I know? Because last spring, Carl had asked me to help him organize his mail while he recovered from back surgery. I'd seen the notice from the county. Delinquent taxes, $14,327.61, due by December 15th, or the land would go to auction. I'd offered to help him then. "Carl, let me look into this. I have contacts." He'd waved me off. "It's fine, Sheru. I'll handle it." He didn't handle it. And now, on Thanksgiving night, I was going to handle it for him. By midnight, I had drafted a letter of intent to purchase the tax lien on the property. By 1 a.m., I had secured a bridge loan from Raj, enough to cover the back taxes plus fees. By 3 a.m., I had filed the initial paperwork online with the county assessor's office. By 5 a.m., I had received confirmation that my bid was the only one on record. At 6 a.m. sharp, the moving truck arrived. I didn't knock on the main house's door. I didn't say goodbye. I simply loaded my furniture, my books, my grandmother's photo, and my 2 houseplants into the truck. I left the apartment key on the kitchen counter with a single Post-it note. "You were right. I was nobody. But starting today, you'll wish I still was." I was sitting in a hotel suite in downtown Phoenix, Raja Street, when my phone started blowing up at 8 p.m., 12 hours after they threw me out. First, Linda called. I let it ring. Then Carl, straight to voicemail. Then Derek. I answered that one. "You son of a bitch," Derek hissed. "What did you do?" "I'm not sure what you mean," I said, stirring my coffee. "The county sent a notice of lien transfer. They're saying someone bought the tax debt on the property, and the name on the paperwork is Sheru Khan." "Oh, that," I smiled. "Yeah, I bought the lien on your parents' land. Legally, that means I now hold the primary claim to the property. If they don't pay me the full amount, plus interest by December 15th, which, based on their bank statements, they can't, I can foreclose." "You can't do that. You lived there." "I was a tenant, remember? You made that very clear. Tenants don't have rights to family property, but lien holders do, and I have impeccable documentation." There was a long silence. Then Derek's voice cracked. "My mom is crying. Maya is asking where you are. Please, just tell us how much you want." "Funny you should ask. I pulled up the spreadsheet I'd made. The back taxes are $14,327.61, plus interest, penalties, legal fees, and my moving costs. Total, $24,000 exactly. Cashier's check by December 10th, or I file for foreclosure on December 11th. We don't have that kind of money. Then maybe you shouldn't have thrown out the only person who offered to help you for free. Happy Thanksgiving, Derek. Oh, and tell your dad, the sprinkler system needs a new backflow valve. It's been leaking for 3 months. I hung up. The next 3 weeks were chaos. Beautiful, righteous chaos. Linda showed up at my hotel lobby on Monday morning, mascara running down her face. Sharu, please. Curl didn't mean. Derek is just. We're family. I handed her a tissue. Linda, I loved your family. I would have done anything for you. But I'm not a pet you can put outside when guests come over. I'm a person. And Derek made sure I understood exactly where I stood. He's sorry. He said he's sorry. Is he? Or is he just sorry there are consequences? She couldn't answer that. Carl came next, the following day. He looked 10 years older. I should have stood up for you, he said. I was a coward. Yes, you were. Can we work something out? A payment plan? I slid a folder across the table. Inside was a contract. You have 2 options. Option 1, pay the $24,000 by December 10th. Option 2, sign over the deed to me. I'll let you live in the house rent-free for 1 year while you find somewhere else. After that, I'm selling the property. Carl's hands trembled. You'd make your own family homeless? Funny, I said. I thought I wasn't family. December 10th came. No cashier's check, no payment, no call. On December 11th, I filed for foreclosure. But here's the part of the story Derek never expected. I didn't kick them out. I didn't sell the house to some developer. Instead, I transferred the deed to a new owner, Linda's estranged sister, Margaret, who lived in Oregon. Margaret and I had been talking since Thanksgiving night. I found her on Facebook, explained everything, and asked her one question. Do you want to come home? She flew in on December 15th. I picked her up from the airport. We drove to Maple Street together. Carl opened the door. When he saw Margaret, he went pale. Hi, little brother, Margaret said. I own your house now, and Linda and I have a lot to talk about. Linda came to the door, saw her sister, and burst into tears. They hugged for a full 2 minutes. Derek stood in the background, his BMW keys in his hand, looking like a man who just realized he was the villain in someone else's story. Margaret turned to me. Sharu, thank you for finding me, for giving me a way back. I nodded. Then I looked at Derek. You threw me out because I wasn't family. But family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up. And you never showed up for anyone but yourself. 1 year later, I got a call from Linda. Sharu, we're having Thanksgiving at Margaret's place this year. She bought a house 3 blocks from us, and she asked me to invite you. I was quiet for a moment. Is Derek going to be there? No, Derek moved to Florida. He's not welcome anymore. Carl and I are in counseling, and Maya asks about you every single day. I thought about the spicy mashed potatoes, about the cinnamon rolls, about a 6-year-old who still believed in magic tricks. Save me a seat, I said. That Thanksgiving, I walked into Margaret's dining room with a bowl of potatoes in my hands. Maya screamed my name and tackled my legs. Linda hugged me so tight I couldn't breathe. Carl shook my hand and said, I'm sorry, one more time. And this time, I believed him. Margaret pulled out a chair for me at the head of the table. This is where you belong, she said. And for the first time in a year, I sat down like I was home. Epilogue. They threw me out on Thanksgiving. 12 hours later, they regretted everything. But regret doesn't fix a broken table. It just gives you the chance to build a new one. My name is Sheru, And I learned that day that the best revenge isn't cruelty, it's showing up anyway, with potatoes, with kindness, and with the quiet knowledge that you were never the problem. You were just sitting at the wrong table. The right one, you have to build it yourself.